The Dancing Shoes, A Love Story. Chapter 1. The Forgotten Ballroom. In the heart of a quiet city corner, hidden behind ivy-covered walls and long-forgotten streets, stood an old ballroom, its grand days left behind in the whispers of history. The chandelier, once a beacon of glittering lights, now hung in the dim room like a relic of a time when waltzes and tango ruled the night. Into this dusty treasure trove walked Isabelle Carter, a talented yet struggling ballet dancer in her mid-20s. Her long, dark hair, tied into a neat bun, framed her elegant features, but her deep brown eyes hinted at a soul weary of chasing dreams that always seemed just out of reach. She had stumbled upon the ballroom by accident while seeking solitude, a place where she could dance without the weight of the world watching her every move. She slipped on her well-worn ballet shoes, their satin dulled from years of use. Slowly, she began to move, twirling through the empty space, her body remembering the joy of dance, even as her heart carried the weight of her struggles. In the vast emptiness, the only sound was the soft scrape of her shoes against the floor and the distant echo of a time when the room had been filled with music and laughter. Chapter 2. A Chance Meeting. Meanwhile, Lucas King, a classically trained ballroom dancer in his late 20s, wandered through the city with a sense of nostalgia. Lucas, with his tousled brown hair and sharp green eyes, had been on the cusp of great success in the competitive dance world, but a knee injury had put his career on hold. Dancing was all he had ever known, and now, with the uncertainty of his future, he found himself lost. Drawn by some unseen force, Lucas found himself at the door of the forgotten ballroom. Pushing it open, he stepped inside, his breath catching as he spotted Isabelle dancing in the dim light. Her movements, so graceful and fluid, took his breath away. For a moment, he stood still, captivated by the sheer beauty of her passion. Unable to resist, he stepped into the room and cleared his throat softly. Isabelle stopped mid-pirouette, startled by the sudden presence of another person. Their eyes met, a spark igniting between them, as if they had been meant to find each other in this very place. Chapter 3. The Dance of Fate. After a brief introduction, Isabelle smiled nervously, still catching her breath. Lucas, with his easy charm, offered a small bow and extended his hand. "May I have this dance?" Isabelle hesitated for only a moment before placing her hand in his. They began to move together, slowly at first, but soon their bodies found a rhythm, an unspoken language shared between two people who understood the magic of dance. Lucas led her effortlessly, his hands guiding her as if they had danced together 1,000 times before. The old ballroom, forgotten by time, seemed to come alive around them. The light from the chandelier flickered like the ghosts of old dances past, and in that moment it felt as though the world outside ceased to exist. It was just the two of them, spinning and twirling through the abandoned hall, lost in the music that only they could hear. Chapter 4. Love in Every Step. As the night wore on, Isabelle and Lucas danced every step, from slow waltzes to passionate tangos, each movement drawing them closer not just as dancers but as kindred spirits. Their conversation flowed easily during breaks, revealing their shared struggles and dreams. Lucas spoke of his injury and the fear that he might never dance again, while Isabelle confessed her own doubts about ever making it as a professional dancer. But as they danced, something shifted within both of them. The doubts, the fears, they faded away in the warmth of their shared connection. With every spin, every twirl, they were no longer just two strangers in an empty ballroom. They were two souls finding solace, hope, and love in each other. When the first light of dawn crept through the cracked windows, Isabelle and Lucas finally stopped, breathless and glowing from the magic of the night. Lucas held her close, their foreheads touching as they swayed gently in silence. "I think we were supposed to find each other," he whispered. Isabelle smiled softly.
"Maybe this was our dance of fate."
Chapter 5. A New Beginning. The magic of that evening didn't end with the sunrise. Isabelle and Lucas met again and again in that forgotten ballroom where their love blossomed like the grandest of waltzes. Lucas's knee injury became a challenge they faced together, while Isabelle's passion for dance reignited stronger than ever. The once abandoned ballroom became their sanctuary, a place where they could be themselves, two dancers who had found not just love but purpose. In the arms of each other, they discovered that sometimes the greatest dances are the ones that life choreographs for you when you least expect it. With every step, they knew that they were no longer walking or dancing alone,